What are we doing today, Simon?
Today we're going to be installing our U-bolt flip kit on my Xterra here. So you can see these are the OEM U-bolt plates, and the way this works is it clamps from the bottom and you got this plate that hangs down low. If you're running extended U-bolts, you can trim these, you know, but they still kind of hang down low. And obviously this isn't the only low hanging point on the truck, but regardless, you can see I get hung up on this all the time. You know, when we're going through rock gardens and whatnot, constantly hitting this and just another hang up. So like I said, it's not the lowest point, but we might as well improve the clearance there. So with that, I guess we're going to install our U-bolt flip kit, and we're going to gain about, in my case, about 2 inches of clearance, but at the very least an inch of clearance off of the U-bolt plate itself. Just have a little bit more clearance for off-roading, obstacles and whatnot. So with that, the install should be pretty easy. You can do this in your driveway or you can do this here on a lift. Today we're going to do it on a lift, so I'm just going to go ahead and take off this plate, pull the U-bolts off, and swap over to the new setup. The Xterra is spring under, which means that as we release the U-bolts, the spring itself is going to help support the axle, but just in case, it can be handy to have a pull jack under the axle if you need to shift things around. So I'm just go ahead and set that up, just to be safe, but we should be all right either way. Here we go. All right, so we got that off. So we don't really need this anymore. I'll just set this aside. All right, so don't need this. I'll set this aside. All right, so the way this works is this plate's gonna go on the bottom just like that, and then our top plate is gonna go on the top. So we got our old U-bolts off, and now we're ready to go ahead and put our U-bolt flip kit in. So I've got this top plate. Obviously this goes on top, so reach around, set that on top of the axle, and then snake this guy up. Oh, and then one last thing I don't want to forget is to put our bottom plate on. There it is. So I'll hold that in place, and then I'll start the nuts on top. These are distorted thread nuts, so one side is going to have a little bit of distortion on it, which will help lock it in place. Just want to make sure that side faces up. So we should thread on nice for a few turns and then lock up. Same thing here on the back side. So we got our nuts loosely threaded in place, and while I tighten this down, I'm going to use a chrome 22 socket. The chrome is going to have just enough clearance to get between the bump stop pad and the actual nut itself. So you won't want to use an impact socket on this. But yeah, while I tighten this down, I'm going to hold this plate up in place so that it ends up in the right position. We'll just go ahead and tighten this up. So we got what we can with the electric ratchet, but now I'm gonna switch over to torque wrench and we'll torque these down properly. All right, so I got my torque wrench and we're gonna go ahead and torque these down to 87 foot-pounds. So as I tighten these down, I just wanna make sure that this plate seats evenly. So one, I'm gonna kind of visually keep an eye on it to make sure it's going down evenly, but I'm gonna try and go opposite corners as I do this, just to be safe. So we just finished the driver's side U-bolt flip, and you can see we got a bit more clearance under here now. Should be, I guess, a little bit less likely to get hung up on rocks and whatnot. So that went really well. So we're gonna go ahead and repeat the exact same process on the passenger side. All right, guys, so there you have it. That was our U-bolt flip kit install. Went pretty well, nice and easy. In about 500 miles or so, we're gonna come back, put the truck back on the lift or just in the driveway. Go ahead and double check the torque on all those. That's an important step, but for now, we are good to go. So if you want a U-bolt flip kit for your Nissan Xterra, you can get this at z1offroad.com.